LingoPie have improved a lot in just a year. So in this updated review, I'll show you exactly how it works, discuss the pros and the cons, say if I think it is worth it or not depending on your level, and I'll also compare it to a similar tool which I have been using for quite a while now. Last year when I came across LingoPie, I honestly found quite a few issues with it, but in a year they've evolved. The bugs do appear to be gone, the interface is streamlined, and it is efficient. So LingoPie are a platform that allow you to watch TV shows, audiobooks, and songs with dual subtitles in 9 different languages. The tool is interactive, allowing you to not only watch, but also click on words that you don't know, which get added and saved to your own database. You can then review and revise these words later on. Additionally, LingoPie have their own app, which is great for learning on the go. The app retains the exact same interactive capabilities you get on the desktop. The app does lack the ability for you to watch Netflix shows on your phone, and you also cannot Chromecast at this point in time either. LingoPie have also added some features created specifically to make language learning more effective. I've been using their keyboard shortcuts a ton to effectively be able to skip backwards and forwards to the previous or the next subtitle. You can replay spoken text this way, but also hit the pause bar to just pause it. You can even clear away the subtitles completely to test yourself. I do this in German on some extremely beginner content just to really put my listening to the test, and then I'll reappear the subtitles when I come across a new word. You can also click to change the playback speed to suit your level. And if you've ever come across a sentence and you've thought, I really don't understand the grammar or the structure of it, they even have this grammar feature now where you can click and it's going to give you an explanation of the grammar of the sentence. I can really see the value in the idea of this. It doesn't seem to go as in-depth as I would like as of right now, but it has still been helpful a few times. One really excellent feature, which is great for reviewing words that you've learned, is that at the end of a show that you've just watched, the tool puts a pop quiz up on the side of the screen. And it kind of forces you in a way to revise up to 10 words that you've just added to your saved words. You can skip it, but I honestly love this feature because for the app to put flashcards right in your face after you've just watched a show, if you choose to skip that, you know that you're sabotaging yourself. But I do think that one of the biggest pros with LingoPie is that it has been designed with language learning specifically in mind. I suggest if you haven't already trying it out because they do offer a 7-day free trial. I have an affiliate link down in the description below if you're interested. Now, as for the few features that I don't really use, the speaking feature, I just find it ever so slightly a bit too slow, but it is a cool idea where you hear a sentence spoken out loud and then you repeat it, and then you can also hear your own voice spoken back to you, so you can hear how you sound. I'd rather just sometimes shadow over the top when I'm listening or watching a show. Also, the looping feature where you loop a particular sentence over and over again, really cool idea. I just haven't really found the opportunity to use it, and it does work very well. Overall, the interface is simple and relatively quick and fast to navigate, but there are just a few small cons that do come to mind with the tool. So you can't natively Chromecast using the app or desktop. However, I have created a whole separate tutorial video because I did find a workaround that allows you to Chromecast your whole entire desktop screen. I would say that 98% of the time the subtitles are spot on, but there were just like 2 sentences I came across in one of the shows that I watched, and they just didn't have the correct subtitles that were showing on the screen, but it wasn't for very long. Thankfully, they do have a feature to actually report these kind of issues. Now, something which was previously a con now appears to be fixed. I'm not sure if that's because they listened to my feedback or if it was just coincidence, because basically I sent them through my feedback after reviewing the tool. I told them that, well, with German, we have these separable verbs, and previously you couldn't see what the whole entire verb meant. Führen on its own means something different to ausführen, which is why I thought it was kind of important for German. But now what they've done is they've actually added in brackets the full separable verb so that you can see what it is. I think this is just really great. And now when you add the verb, it's going to add this whole entire translation here as well. But they do also save the whole context of the show to your flashcard as well. So whenever you're reviewing a flashcard, you can just click to play the clip. One tip is to definitely utilize the search filters. They're just a little bit more hidden. I wish these were on the main page as well, but I use these a lot more than the search bar itself to show specifically beginner content, for example. And I would also just like some way of being able to see if I've watched a show previously or not, so that I can either go back and watch the same show to revise it, or so that I know to ignore it when seeking out new content. As for their flashcards, really great integrating this into the tool. The only thing is that I noticed it doesn't take too many times getting a word correct before a word moves to your mastered section. You can also review these later as well. So now I'll move on to the catalog that they have available to you, starting with the Netflix selects. Now you do need to have a Netflix account for this to work and be logged on the desktop only. You need to install the LingoPie Chrome extension. With select shows in Netflix, you can activate this Chrome extension, and the same LingoPie features available on their own catalog will activate over the Netflix show. Note that this doesn't work for every single show out there on Netflix. So if I wanted to watch some show that is originally in German, like Into the Beat, same with an English show, but that has German dubbing, it's not going to work. But I have found a way to do this using a different tool, which I'll talk about later on. They mostly seem to advertise being able to watch Netflix shows with the dual subtitles, but they do also have their own catalog of videos as well. Now I say videos because the majority of the catalog are very short videos. Most seem to be about 5 minutes long. Some of these are even shorter, like maybe 2 minutes, and some are longer. In LingoPie's ads, they always seem to be advertising the Netflix shows. So for me, that set the expectation that the rest of their catalog would be as high quality.
I'll note that I have found with LingoPie that a lot of the shows do seem to be available on YouTube, but then they do also have some other TV shows as well. Lots of short films by some smaller directors, and some of the videos and TV shows are still quite interesting.
As a beginner to German, these shorter style videos are actually more than okay, because shorter study sessions where I'm a lot more focused are genuinely, for me, more helpful and effective. The reason for this as well is that LingoPie have done a very good job of pooling together beginner-friendly resources. So it has removed that problem for me of scrambling on YouTube or Netflix to try and find something that's actually suitable for my level. I have subscribed to LingoPie and I have found it helpful and valuable for me learning German. I would say that it doesn't have like an addictive nature to it like binging Netflix shows do, but it does work, because I think that when you elect to watch a show on LingoPie, I think that you're more likely going to be looking at the words as the priority and then watching the show second. As a result, I find you more likely to actually engage with the language, be focused, and so these 5 to 10 minute short sessions can actually be quite effective. Something that's also happened a few times is that I've started watching LingoPie content, and then when I feel like I've gently eased myself into German, because I just find LingoPie helps me to do that with its beginner-friendly content, I'll then go off onto YouTube and try and find a more challenging but maybe more entertaining video, because it doesn't feel as daunting anymore. But as for French, I'm at more of an intermediate advanced level. So for me, finding the right content at my level isn't as much of a problem for me, because I can choose any Netflix show or YouTube video that just genuinely appeals to my interests. And so for French, I don't use LingoPie because I just don't find the content as appealing as on my YouTube feed, for example. But I do sometimes use an alternative to LingoPie, which still allows me to apply those dual subtitles, but it actually works for any YouTube video or Netflix show. It's called Language Reactor. You can actually get started for free. It's available as a Chrome extension. They do have a paid option, which I personally use, which allows you to also save words, get access to machine translations, and also watch dubbed content, which I do all the time, like House, but in German, for example. What Lingo Reactor don't have is that they don't have an inbuilt flashcard system. You can export all the words you've saved, but then you'd have to import them into Anki. So with that in mind, do I recommend LingoPie? For beginners, absolutely. For intermediate learners, it's a solid maybe. I'd say if you're for a B1 level, this could still be very useful for you. Ultimately, if you find that you're more focused using the tool, it's worth it for you, I would say. But if you, on the other hand, find that you'd prefer to watch a YouTube video of your choice and you can follow along and it's not as demotivating for you, then Language Reactor is probably the better option. For advanced learners, I'd say Language Reactor is probably the best because it will work with any content out there. However, again, you don't get that inbuilt flashcard tool, so perhaps LingoPie, using the Netflix Chrome extension specifically and then reviewing those flashcards, maybe that's more effective for you. Watching shows and videos can be a really fun and effective way to learn a language. And to find more ways to learn a language to make the whole process a bit more fun, go and watch this video here next where I came up with 25 ideas that are fun for you to learn a language.